Do you believe that someone has truly witnessed a dragon? 90 years ago, over 100 people saw one up close. It had horns on its head, a tail behind it, and even after its death, its skeleton was displayed in a public square for several days. Hello everyone! Welcome to the World in 10 Minutes series. Today, we're going to talk about the Yingkou Fallen Dragon incident. This event took place in July 1934. That same year, in northeast China, Puyi ascended the throne as the puppet emperor of Manchukuo. In early July 1934, a place called Tianzhuangtai in Yingkou, Liaoning, experienced an unprecedented torrential downpour, making it impossible for local villagers to go out to sea and fish. After an unknown period of time, the rain finally stopped. However, an uninvited guest shattered the tranquility of Tianzhuangtai. One day, several fishermen went to the nearby estuary and suddenly heard an animal making a sound, similar to a cow's bellowing from a nearby reed marsh. A faint, rotting stench also filled the air. Curious, the men followed the sound and the smell. What they discovered next would stay with them for the rest of their lives. Pushing aside the last layer of reeds, they were stunned to see a creature over 10 meters long, with 4 clawed limbs curled against its body. 2 nearly 1 meter long horns protruded from its head, and its body was covered in hand-sized scales. One of the fishermen cried out in shock, "Isn't this the dragon we've only seen in paintings?" However, the creature was in a dire state, barely alive, stranded, weak, and struggling to survive. Its body was covered in strange wounds, some of which were oozing pus and infested with maggots. The terrible stench came from these festering injuries. This shocking news quickly spread back to the village. Men, women, and children all dropped what they were doing and rushed to the scene, eager to catch a glimpse. Seeing the dragon's suffering, the kind-hearted villagers began fetching buckets of water to pour over its body. Some even built a shelter to protect it. Monks from a nearby temple were invited to chant prayers and perform rituals, hoping to extend its life. This continued for several days. However, another heavy rainstorm soon arrived, and the villagers could no longer stay by the dragon's side. When the rain stopped, the creature had vanished without a trace. The story didn't end there. On July 28th, 4 witnesses, including Kai Shoukong, were playing near the Yingkou paper mill when they suddenly saw a dragon-like creature in the sky. On the same day, the Holy Bible Times published a report claiming that a dragon had descended from the sky, capsizing 3 small boats, damaging factory buildings, and causing the deaths of 9 people. It even flipped over a truck parked by the roadside before disappearing again. When reporters from the newspaper interviewed the children, their descriptions of the creature matched remarkably well. Worried that the children were too young and might have mistaken a uniquely shaped cloud for a dragon, the reporters repeatedly questioned them. However, the children firmly and decisively stated that they had indeed seen a dragon. They described it as hovering in the sky for over 10 seconds, grayish-white in color, with a massive head, horns, and 4 clawed limbs, slithering through the clouds like a serpent. By this time, it was already August 8th, and a villager spotted a strange carcass about 10 kilometers from the Liao River estuary. The corpse had no skin or flesh left, only muscles and bones remained. Nearby, there were deep claw marks in the ground, as if the creature had struggled before its death. Shortly after, the remains were taken by the 6th Police Station of Manchukuo, and later displayed at the Shihai port for dock workers to see. Eventually, Shengjing Times published a report titled "The Perfect Fusion of Myth and Reality," detailing the discovery of the dragon's bones and even releasing a rare photograph of the skeleton. Unfortunately, after the police handed over the dragon bones to a normal school for safekeeping, they were completely lost due to the war. Fast forward to 2004, an elderly man named Sun Zhengren brought a few pieces of the dragon bones he had preserved to the Into Science TV program, hoping to have them analyzed by experts to prove that dragons were indeed real. However, a marine biologist on the show immediately dismissed the Yingkou Fallen Dragon incident as impossible. He claimed that the bones displayed in the photograph were not from a dragon at all, but rather a hoax. According to him, the horns on the skull were misplaced by uninformed villagers, making them look like dragon horns. But as long as you have eyes and a brain, you can clearly see the differences in the 2 photographs. In the end, the dragon bones presented by Sun Zhengren were identified as fossilized horse bones. Yet, what was truly astonishing was that dating tests showed the bones were over 10,000 years old. At this point, the story had no further developments. Whether the Yinku fallen dragon was real or not, and whether dragons truly exist, has been buried by time. Today, major online forums have two main theories regarding the Yinku fallen dragon incident. Some believe that no dragon actually fell and that the entire event was fabricated by the Japanese. The reasoning behind this is that only one newspaper, the Holy Bible Times, reported on the event, while other newspapers did not. Moreover, Shengjing Times, which later published the Dragon Bone story, was under the control of the Japanese government at the time. If the story was deliberately fabricated, it could have been a psychological tactic to weaken the Chinese people's beliefs, spreading fear and superstition to distract them and make them easier to control in preparation for Japan's future military actions. If viewed from this angle, the theory makes sense. According to believers, the wounded dragon that washed up in Tianzhuangtai was actually a spiritual being undergoing a celestial trial. The rare torrential downpour was the manifestation of this dragon's tribulation, but after failing, its body disintegrated into nothingness. On this matter, I firmly believe that dragons exist, because every time I don't want to wash the dishes, my wife always says, "You truly are a dragon."